class, good morning. How are you? Today we're going to talk about a new lesson. But before that, I would like to congratulate you for passing the quiz number 1. Are you ready? Our lesson for today is the tropical life in the Philippines. Let's start. On the previous lesson, we discussed different forms of land, which we can find in other places, especially here in the Philippines. Today, let us focus in our country. Are you ready? It is important to ask ourselves some relevant questions that are helpful in this lesson. Can you describe the exact location of the Philippines on the map and on the globe? Can you explain the relationship between climate and the types of plants and animals found in our country? And what are the causes and effects of typhoons in the Philippines? Do you still remember what climate is? It is the fairly predictable weather pattern for a given area or region. Here in the Philippines, we have a climate that keeps the supply of rain and sunshine in tropical countries. As the Philippines is located between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, it is a tropical country. It has a steady supply of downpour as well as typhoons all year round. Did you ever have to stay home because of a typhoon? The Philippines is visited by typhoons several times within the year because it lies in the typhoon belt of the Pacific region. However, we Filipinos have learned to live with these calamities. Most of us prepare ourselves for the coming of storms and typhoons. But we can prepare typhoons only when we keep track of changes in the weather through weather forecasts or regular announcements about the weather that you can hear on the radio or that you can read in a newspaper. A typhoon, also known as a hurricane, is a tropical cyclone or a storm born over tropical waters. It is stronger than a storm with its strong winds that travel at no less than 118 kilometers per hour. In a typhoon, air moves toward the center where there is very low pressure. The center is called the eye of the typhoon. Typhoons originate in the regions of the Mariana Islands and the Caroline Islands in the Pacific Ocean. The winds during a typhoon come from different directions. The most dangerous winds are those in or near the eye of the storm. These destroy everything that lies in the path. This picture looks scary, right? This is what you call a whirlwind, also known as tornado. It is a powerful air movement which consists of tall and thick spiraling columns of air. Because of the speed at which these air columns spiral, they exert a massive suction force that destroys anything in their path. Wind that changes direction from season to season is referred to as monsoon. There are two kinds of monsoon in the Philippines. One is amihan or northeast monsoon. It originates from the Asia-Pacific region. It occurs from November to February. The second kind of monsoon is the southwest monsoon or habagat. It develops in the Indian Ocean and it occurs from June to October. There are several effects of typhoons. For Filipinos living in Luzon, the Visayas, and some areas of Mindanao, typhoons are a common experience. This is especially true during the months of July, August, and September. However, due to much environmental destruction, especially deforestation, typhoons not only bring heavy rains, they also cause much flooding and further soil erosion. Homes and agricultural landfills are also destroyed, and there are massive deaths brought by the strong typhoons. Many poor Filipinos do not have sturdy houses to protect them from typhoons and similar calamities. When there are typhoons, the poor usually cannot go to work. Without work, they have no daily income to buy their food and other basic needs. Over many hundreds of years, people living in the Philippines have learned to adapt to the local climate and weather patterns. For example, the Ivatan people in Batanes have built strong stone houses to help protect them from typhoons. Filipino farmers have also adapted their planting seasons to match the changes in weather throughout the year. However, the increased destruction of the environment due to human activities and also the stronger typhoons and other storms caused by climate change means that Filipinos are now experiencing greater environmental risks. We Filipinos help each other during times of calamities such as typhoons. Those who are not greatly affected by a typhoon share what little they have: food, clothing, medicines, and cash donations with those who have lost their loved ones, homes, and property. Apart from the fellow Filipinos that are helping each other, the government of the country are also doing extra efforts. For example, they share in helping the victims of calamities by providing relief goods, and they relocate victims to refugee centers. And in some areas, the government aids the victims as they rebuild their damaged homes, farms, communities, and lives. The Philippines is very rich in natural resources. It is blessed with forests, minerals, fisheries, and wild plant and animal life. But the government and all citizens must take care that these resources are used wisely so they can continue to be of good use to us. Future of generations of Filipinos depend on us to prevent further environmental destruction. If the environment is not protected now, future generations will lack the resources they need for their good health and well-being. Thus, those of us who use the country's air, water, and land resources today must not be greedy and careless. Future Filipino generations also deserve to have access to the rich resources of our country. Now, the question is, how can you stay healthy in the tropics? The tropical climate in the Philippines affects our health and well-being. It influences our choice of activities. Due to the warm and humid climate, we perspire a lot the whole day. We easily use up our stored energy because of the heat of the atmosphere. Thus, we tend to undertake daytime activities that do not require staying outdoors and under the heat of the sun for a long periods of time. Those who are not very healthy work and play less because they tire quickly. Thus, it is very important that what we eat, the right kind of food to keep our bodies strong and healthy. Today, we learned about the tropical life in the Philippines. Did you learn something today? I hope you do. If ever you have questions, feel free to message me or leave a comment on the comment section below. Did you understand what you learned today? Answer letter E on pages 116 to 117 and check the classwork for specific instructions. Thank you so much, grade 4!